Welcome back, guys. This is Real Estate Investing in New York with me, Christina Kremidas. And in this episode, we are going over some market updates and introducing you to our newest team member. So stay tuned. We're covering everything here. This is Real Estate Investing in New York with Christina Kremidas, helping you achieve a future of financial success by making intelligent real estate investment decisions today. Thank you for being with us today for another episode of Real Estate Investing in New York. I know you're going to enjoy this episode. You are going to meet our newest team member, Katherine Bender, who is with us today, as well as Joseph Tesoriero, who you already know. And we also have Minnie on my lap today. She's post-surgery and very clingy right now, so she's hanging out with me for the day. So Katherine, we are so happy to have you finally. We've needed your support for a long time now, and I was very thankful that 2024 looked very busy and very promising, and there's definitely a ton that you were able to get started on immediately. So we'll go into all of that, but first, please introduce yourself and let our audience know a little bit about you.
Sure. Thank you, Christina. So I'm Katherine. I just joined the team a few weeks ago. It hasn't even been a month, and it's been a great start. I'm originally from Russia, been in New York for almost 14 years, done a lot of things in between, and here I am now on Christina Kremidas' team. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So you said you're from Russia. You said, like, we're not including this, but you said, do you want to talk about what you were doing? It's really not to make it seem like you just got into real estate. It's really just that you're new to the team.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit
But
about
yeah, like, are you cool with talking about what you did before? Because
Sure,
I think
yeah.
it's very interesting, right?
I'm not going to go like super in detail, just like an overview if that...
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So, one of the things I love about you, Katherine, is your background. I thought it was really interesting when we first started chatting. And I'd love for you to share what you did before you switched careers into real estate.
Yes, been doing a lot of things in those 14 years, to be honest. When I just came here, I did a lot of weird jobs on retail and hospitality, but I guess the main reasons why I came to New York for me was I wanted to try myself in modeling, and so I've done that for quite a few years, done New York Fashion Week's editorials, commercials, but then one day, for some reason, I decided it was no longer for me. And so I decided to go back to school. I went to Columbia where I studied computer science, and then I joined corporate forces. I've done that for a few years. I worked as a product manager, as a data scientist, but then I didn't really feel fulfilled. And so I was kind of dabbling with the idea of trying myself in real estate for a while, and that just felt like it was the right time. And so I started in real estate then.
I relate to that because before starting in real estate, years ago, I worked in advertising and it was corporate. And I always found that there were so many nice things about working in a corporate environment, and like there's a path for you. There's people that are, willing to help you kind of like target and get to that end goal. But some people just need like the chaos of the real estate world.
Yeah, for me it was, like real estate kind of reminds me of modeling in a way, because you're always working like on cool projects, you're meeting new interesting people, and there's like a sense of excitement every day, like you don't know how the day will unfold. That's not something you can find in corporate world, so that's definitely something I was looking for in my next career move, and I'm glad I found it.
Yeah, I love that. Did you feel like a little bit suffocated in the corporate world? Like you were put into like a box, and do you feel like real estate satisfies that? Like you get to wear more hats?
I would say so, yeah. In corporate world, as you said, like everything seems great, but at the same time, something literally was dying inside of me every single day. So when I started in real estate, there's just this sense of excitement, like, oh, I don't know how, like, what am I going to do today? Like, who my client will be, like, how the things will turn out. So definitely, there's always so much going on, but at the same time, it's like you're always excited about what's to come next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You agree, Joe?
Yeah, definitely. You never know, like, who's going to call you next. Like,
Exactly.
The mystery of like someone's calling you,
Yeah.
like, all right, this could be like
Like a celebrity or, you
that
know.
phone call you've been waiting for. You never know. You know, it's
Right.
definitely it's something new every day. It's definitely
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Even on days when I wake up and I'm like, okay, I have a very structured day today. I know exactly what I'm doing, and this is my exact list of everything I need to accomplish. By the end of the day, it was completely different. Like,
Yeah.
it's really not ever what you expect. That's the truth.
Yeah, you really cannot plan anything. Like whenever I try to plan, like that's the time when the day just does not.
Yeah, plan your day.
Something
Pretty
I
much,
always
you
say.
know, yeah, like plan your day in the morning, start doing it, and then just go do something like for yourself that day. Go to the gym, go do something personal. Because once you start doing that, your phone just starts blowing up with everybody that you texted that morning that didn't get back to you. For some reason, they all get back to you at the same time, and now you're like, oh, I'm busy again. Like,
Yeah, 100%. That's something I'm still learning because like I feel like once things start getting crazy busy, like I just forget about everything because I want to stay on top of the things. But that's a really good point you brought up. Like remember to have like a personal thing in a day, just like not to go nuts.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make time for yourself, honestly, because there's always something you could be doing for the job. There's always something. So, market, Katherine, firstly, like, what has your experience been with the team so far? How did you decide that you wanted to be on our team? And then have your expectations, like, has the reality of what it's like working on the Christina Kremidas team, has the reality of working on the Christina Kremidas team lived up to your expectations so far?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I didn't really know I will end up on the team because it was just, one of those things you don't plan and it just happened. A friend of mine, Maria, is already a part of your team, and every time we would speak about our work, she would just speak so highly of the team and like how much she grew in her career. And I would always like joke maybe, maybe I will join the team one day. And like it was just like, not very serious conversation. But then a couple of months ago, she actually did ask me if I wanted to join the team, and so I felt like it was the right time to jump on the wagon. So yeah, we had an interview with you, and once we spoke and like once I met the whole team, I literally right away I felt like it was the right decision because you guys been so welcoming, so supportive. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far. In terms of my first few weeks, they've been crazy, a roller coaster. A lot has happened my first week. I thought I will have like a slow start as a new team member, but then I started having clients right away and like listings, and it's just been crazy, but in a good way. So yeah, I've definitely, my experience so far exceeded all of my expectations, and I'm super happy I started.
Yeah. So, discuss some of the active projects that you're working on right now that are most notable. Right from the beginning, you picked up a new listing in a brand new building.
killing it.
Yeah, that was very unexpected. So my very first client since I joined the team was a buyer. So I was representing a buyer, but then she decided to sell her own apartment to purchase a new property. And so week 2, I already had a listing, which was something very unusual, and I definitely didn't expect that to happen, but that was a very nice surprise. And then, yeah, we listed her apartment. We started looking at other properties for her, and it's just been moving crazy fast. And then I also had another client who literally just found perfect place in 3 days, and they went into they have an accepted offer and going into contract. So it's been super exciting, and I didn't expect it to move that fast. So it definitely makes me feel motivated every day to do more, just because I didn't know things can move this quickly.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Killing the game right from
Few
day
weeks
one.
and 2 accepted offers then.
Yeah,
Good for you.
it's awesome. It's awesome. Pretty much everyone on our team got like a decent quick start. I think that Katherine has like the most going on from day one right now so far to date.
Thrown into the fire, dude.
I still feel like things could have been moving faster, just because like it feels like, oh, there's so much more you can do. Am I doing enough?
You said that in the beginning, and I was like, are you kidding me? You have more business than most like seasoned agents have. You're so funny.
Especially in like a market like this, to be getting deals done, that's awesome.
Yeah, because the market has been a bit of a challenge. I think we should talk about that and fill in our audience on the latest updates in the market. This year looked like it was going to be a beyond banner year when it started. As soon as the clock struck midnight on January 1st, every broker everywhere, their phones blew up. Everybody was ready to do something.
The bidding wars were happening again.
Yep.
It was like, all right, here we go. And then
Yep, we were back to bidding wars. Everybody was finally out looking at places. Inventory was really drying up. And it was just amazing. We put under contract, I would say, 80% of our entire GCI, like 70 or 80% of our entire GCI from the previous year, just by March or April of this year. It was wild, and we, were totally on a roll, and that has continued a bit, but the market slowed down since April.
Yeah.
For sure. How do you guys feel that's been?
I mean, look, we're still getting our deals done. We're doing what we have to do. It's not flooding in like the business. I mean, we're definitely working harder to get it.
Yeah.
I noticed none of the deals are going smooth.
I know the deals are all kind of a mess.
Banks are just, but if your banks, cash, doesn't matter. It's like, it feels like everything is just kind of like moving at a slower pace. Every step is taking longer than normally, but, we're still doing what we have to do and getting it done. And
yeah, and thank goodness we can't complain. We have a great amount of deals that have been going under contract regularly. It does just feel like it takes a lot more work to get to that point than when you're just throwing them in like crazy, which is what we were doing in March and April. And it's also funny because we spoke to a lot of our buyers that got back out into the market in March and April when we let them know, things are going off the shelves now. The inventory is kind of drying. And everyone went out and was interested in looking at apartments. And we originally thought it was going to be a good opportunity for deals in the beginning of the year, but that quickly changed and there were no deals to be had for buyers. You were getting bidding wars, like you said. And then all of a sudden we're like, I found myself calling all my buyers back and being like, actually, we're going to get a deal again. Like all of a sudden now there's negotiation room again.
yeah.
So it has been a roller coaster. But it's been interesting, and it's been, through the challenges, I think that it's been very exciting. We do have some cool deals that we've had the opportunity to work on. Great discounts for our buyer clients, good pricing for our sellers too. Joe, what was the best deal, let's say, biggest discount you've gotten for a buyer recently?
So the biggest discount I've gotten for a buyer right now was on a new development. So a sponsor unit, and it was a 12.5% discount. So.
That's awesome. And was that spread across a discount in the sale price as well as sponsor closing costs and concessions and credits back?
Yeah, so that was all in. So we got money off the asking price, which is unusual for a new development. All the sponsor fees taken care of, mansion tax, and kind of across the board right now for the new developments. They're definitely struggling and want to get deals done. So I've been telling my clients, look, if a deal is something that you're looking for, the new developments definitely have a lot of potential. Resale at the end of the day, there's a lot more emotions attached to that deal. And you're not going to, there's only so much that a seller's going to let their place go for. But a developer who needs to move their building so that they can move on to something else is, a little less emotional about these sales, and they're kind of just like, let's get this done, let's move on to the next thing. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity right now in the new development.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I agree as well. My biggest discount so far this year is also a new development in a new development building. And the interesting thing about the new development buildings is that you are not always going to see how big the discount was reflected in the public records. Anyone can look up and see how much a apartment sold for within a building. But with the sponsor sales, you're getting so much more money back on the back end, in excess of six figures, that you're collecting back at the closing table. It adds multiple percentage points to your overall discount, and that's not publicly reflected. So the sponsor and new development market, based on what you're seeing publicly, and this is not for the agents, already know this, but this is for the listeners, the pricing that you're seeing reported in these new development buildings is actually not even reflecting as good of a deal as there is to get right now. On my side, we are in the works currently negotiating a 10% discount on a downtown new development, which will be an incredible discount rate as well. Sponsor sales, you're really not, even on any transaction, a 10% discount is high. That's a significant discount.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a combination of getting a discount off the asking price, which, like Joseph said, is very rare, as well with sponsor units, as well as closing costs back. And it's funny that you said, like, we kind of all watched the market sort of slow down over the last couple of months, because we had been negotiating on this particular new development building for a while now. This is probably one of the longest negotiations I've ever had, where we've gone back and forth. We've gone back and forth at least 6 times by now.
Yeah.
Usually it's wrapped up in a few rounds. But this sponsor was adamantly against giving mansion tax. He was not paying mansion tax. He was giving transfer taxes. They were giving the other, associated closing costs, their attorney fee, and these, fees that we're all aware that the sponsors will typically pick up, but absolutely no mansion. It was a hard no right from the very first offer. And it was after the 4th round of negotiating when they realized, like, they didn't have anyone else really placing an offer on this unit yet, I guess. We did get mansion in one of these last few rounds. They gave us mansion, and it was actually the sponsor's idea.
That's big.
Yeah, they added in mansion as one of the incentives. So it's definitely a great opportunity for buyers right now. We thought that we would be done saying that by this time, but this buyer's market has another leg to it. And I do think that will stay the case for a little bit of time. I think probably at least until the election, where people can kind of get some clarity. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's not going to be like it was the last time around. I think people have a little more clarity, at least, like, all right, both of them were in before, so kind of have an idea of what we're getting, regardless of who it is. So I don't think people are basing it off that as much, but I do think it definitely is something holding things back. But, at the end of the day, it's definitely heavily rate-based. Everyone is
dependent.
When you go on the news and you hear that they are dropping them, everyone's like, okay, let's wait for that. And then you hear they're not dropping them. So I think everyone's kind of just confused as to what's going on right now. And
yeah, that was a big derailment in the momentum in the market this year. Everybody thought that rates were going to start going down mid-year. And that's why the market picked up, because it takes a while to find the place that you want. So every buyer was out in the beginning of the year with the assumption that by mid-year, we'd be able to lock in a lower rate. And that didn't happen. The rates didn't come down, which not only affected the demands on behalf of the buyers and their affordability, but it affects sellers not wanting to list. Yep. Sellers are still not listing at the rate we typically see. And we thought it would be a wild listing market because there's so many people that are just waiting to list, actively waiting to list. We have so many seller clients that we check in with them and they'd love to list, but we still can't get their price.
Yep.
So we're not listing yet. And where are they going? What are they buying next at a higher interest rate? Of course, historically, it's not all that high, but for our recent feelings, it does feel high. So where are they going to give up a 3% rate?
Exactly.
That's the challenge. We looked at recent data. We always look at week over week transaction data in New York City. And the most recent update that came out did show that contract activity is up. Buyers are out there and buyers are buying. There's only so long you can wait, right? A lot of our clients are buying for specific reasons. They have like family changes. They are selling and now they do need a place to go. Like there are some people that life isn't going to wait forever, right?
Yep.
So we
There's
do have these
a lot of
transactions.
pent up demand. Absolutely.
Yes, we do have these transactions happening.
Yeah, some people. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, some people aren't able to wait. So exactly, it comes down to that. And I also, you see it's one of those markets. So if you do list in a neighborhood where schools are great and there's a lot going on, it's like you are seeing that go, especially if your unit's finished, in really good condition, it's gonna go. So that's the only thing that you're seeing in this market right now is if something is worth it, there's gonna be a bidding war on it, which is crazy. And we're just saying like there's no more bidding wars right now, but at the end of the day, there are some you're seeing like Williamsburg, downtown Brooklyn, or some areas of the city.
Yes. It is. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that we were making it sound a little bit more dismal than it really is. There's definitely a lot of movement. We just wanted more by now. But I think that, like you said, completely right, that desirable properties are getting scooped up very quickly. And that's important to mention because if you're looking at things where other buyers are also looking at similar product, you do need to act with urgency. That is 100% true. We don't want to set our buyers up for failure by making them think that there's no urgency because we have lost out actually recently with a few offers that went in that we didn't get. We didn't get the properties. So absolutely true. Yeah. Absolutely true.
Yeah, I think a lot of buyers think that because the market is slow, they can get a deal. But in reality, like if the property is a good value, like there's no deals happening.
It's true. That's another thing is people aren't overpricing apartments right now. They're listing at what market value is. Some people are trying to list below to get a bidding war. So yeah, there's not too much room to move in resale.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We were just talking about that the other day, Katherine, where we were analyzing comps to provide our recommendation to our clients on the initial offer price, right? What should we offer in the first round and where do we realistically think this property is going to settle out at in terms of its true market value? And when we put these numbers together, we've been seeing with every single deal, every single purchase that we've been helping our buyers calculate the numbers on, it's been coming out that the property is listed exactly at market value. And really, when it comes to getting a deal, we told our clients, it's not about looking at discount off of asking price right now because like Joseph said, the asking prices are not inflated really at all. So it's not going to be a discount off of ask. It's going to be a lower sale price than what this property would have gone for in 2020, 2021, and 2022. That's what you're looking at. That's your deal today. I think that's a very important point to make. Mm-hmm. It's not about expecting a large discount percentage off.
Yeah, it's doing your research, making sure that, what we're here for is to show you, look at the numbers. Look at what this person bought this for 7 years ago. It's kind of at that right now, So it's definitely,
if not
our
lower.
jobs are becoming a lot more important right now. And
absolutely. A lot of people are having a very tough time right now because they bought in the earlier 2000s, even up to 2015, 2016. But that is a very good point. Owners that purchased in the earlier 2000s, even up to 2015, 2016, they paid high. They paid high in the city. And right now, when they sell, they are having a bit of a difficult time making up their price after all the fees that are associated with closing. We're able to get them some profit, but it hasn't been, it's not as easy as you'd assume it would be after owning for 20 years. So we're hoping that there's this upswing coming for sure. And I think that, the makings are there for it to be that. But I think our most difficult and analytical question that we've been having with our seller clients is what, Joe?
Yeah, so you don't want to overprice. Because right now we're in that market where, you're going to overprice. And not only are you going to sit on the market and hurt yourself with that, but you're also going to be still carrying the unit. Because at the end of the day, even if you paid all cash for that apartment, you still have your carrying costs. If it's a condo, you also have property tax and the maintenance. So, if you have a high property tax and the maintenance, you're carrying a lot for that unit when you could just list it a little bit lower, move it, and not have to worry about that, because at the end of the day, those months that you carry the unit for are going to add up, and you wind up walking away with the same amount even if you got that $40,000 more that you were looking for, because your property tax and all in common charge all in were, say $4,000 a month or something.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's absolutely true. And I actually have seen that play out more times than I'd like to say I've seen it on various listings, some mine, some others, where, a seller is just not negotiable or really wants to stay high, and they've spent the amount of money that they've been fighting for the entire time in the monthlies over the course of being on the market. It happens.
Yep.
It does happen. You're not exaggerating at all.
And I get it. Look, you have a price in mind and you want to get that price because you feel like you put your time in with the unit. Like, now you deserve to get that price. I get it. But also your job, your goal is to get rid of the place and move on to your next part of your life. Mm-hmm. So why hold that up over, a few $1,000s?
Yeah. It's always a give and take for sure. It's a tough conversation to have, but still it's important to, properly inform our clients and make sure that they know, we can list high. We'll just, it's take a little bit longer.
No, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
There is a lot of potential in the market. It's not like it's not a terrible market.
No, it is. There's
potential for sellers. There's potential for buyers. You just have to get creative right now in this market, and you figure it out, and you wind up seeing that everybody winds up being happy at the end of the day and getting what they were looking for.
Yeah, you definitely need to get creative in your listings. If you're on the listing side, you're not just putting it up online and waiting for the phone to ring at all. Not like we ever are doing that, but you really are getting more creative, much grittier, much more hands-on as well. Like aggressive follow-ups and doing really out-of-the-box marketing too. Interesting events. We can finally have events again, and doing influencer marketing is really big too right now, and all of the social media work. It's all been contributing to the sales.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge right now, and I mean, for our generation, it's like they're looking at that stuff to buy houses, like you're seeing on Instagram and the TikTok, all the information that you could put out on there that the other generation hates us for, but it works. It's what you need to do in a market like this. People see that they're on Instagram, TikTok every single day, so it's like that stuff gets houses sold.
It really does.
And you may not, people don't want to admit it. Homeowners maybe don't, because they see people walking around their house with their phone, or with someone filming it, and it's like, what are you guys doing? But it works. It gets the deal done.
It really does.
It's a new way. It's just another way on top of the old school way that was already going on. It's like we do that too, but we also have a little more to it that gets it creative and it gets it out to even more people. So.
Yeah, today's marketing. It's very, very digital. We've seen it happen so many times. And recently we were sitting with a seller and we discussed social media, and they were like, oh, really? Like, surprised that works. Yeah. And then they were like, wait, actually, I'm constantly seeing apartment tours online and I love them. And we're like, yeah, exactly. Even if you don't think you're the target for it, those algorithms are strong. They really do a lot of targeting for you in the advertising. Definitely missed opportunity if you're not doing it.
No, for sure. I think a lot of people are still not considering it, but I think it will grow like in a couple of years, and people will actually take it seriously, because I've known personally so many people who actually found apartments off TikTok or Instagram. So it's definitely out there, but I think people are also a little bit hesitant still to, like, especially sellers, like, to put their apartments for sale due to like some privacy concerns. But I think it definitely is on the way to become one of the ways to market places.
Agreed. So one final question. I know we're over time. What is your favorite neighborhood right now when it comes to decent inventory? Oh, there was something I wanted to mention about the data, that I didn't get to close the loop on. So I wanted to go back and mention what we're seeing in the data. When we analyze the week over week data, we are seeing that apartments are getting taken. The contract activity is up right now. So there is demand. That is an important thing to note. There is demand. The sheer number of apartments that are being absorbed is less than we typically see at this time because there is no inventory. And there still is very low inventory. This is the biggest thing that we're seeing in the weekly data. And this is the time where listings hit the market. April, May is when these heavy listings hit the market. And there's usually a big influx of listings at this time. And this week, we had a 16% decline in new listings to the market than there were last week. So we are not seeing the listing activity that we would typically see at this time. And that's what's been keeping the market a little bit slower because buyers need stuff to see. They want to buy. They're here. They're ready. They're able. They need something to buy. And that's been the biggest challenge. So back to the final question. What is your favorite neighborhood right now in terms of decent supply, like good, nice, interesting product to see, and you're getting a little bit of not necessarily a deal, but you know what's a good market to work in right now? What's a good neighborhood to be looking in right now if you're looking for good product at a decent price?
My opinion, I think Chelsea, like Chelsea, West Chelsea, you're seeing like condo units, one beds that are, you know, under the million, just under $1 million, or just at $1 million, which is, in my opinion, an awesome deal right now because they are negotiating a little bit on those resales too. And, you know, out of nowhere, you're seeing them all get swept up right now because it's great value. You know, you're in Chelsea.
Is great value.
Such an awesome neighborhood. Even the co-ops over there are below, you're seeing co-op one beds are below $1 million, and they're in great location.
Great location. You know? There's a lot of new, beautiful there's some beautiful, larger new buildings that went up in that area. So they have some inventory to offload, and the pricing is very competitive.
Definitely.
You're right. It's a phenomenal spot.
Like I did a deal in a building over there, and there was probably 5 or 6 units on the market all at the same time. And once we went in to negotiate on one, it was like everyone came in at the same time. Like everyone saw this value for this building at the same time. And now if you look, like we got one, luckily, they're all in contract.
They were all in contract.
All 5 units. They were all on the market for probably like 40 days isn't a lot, but some of them were on the market for, 90 to over 100 days. And all at the same time just all got taken up. Which,
that's how it is.
The value's there. People are starting to see a little more now, but...
Yeah, I agree. I love that area.
Yeah.
I have to think of a new answer now. What about you, Katherine?
Good question. I mean, I've been focusing mostly on Brooklyn, so I would think if we're talking about Brooklyn, I feel like a lot of people are focusing so much on Park Slope, and the deals are not really there because there's so much bidding wars going on. I would say like Greenwood and like the possibly even Clinton Hill and Boerum Hill, especially like on the borders with other neighborhoods. I would say those are like the units where we're seeing biggest discounts, and those are mostly new developments. So buyers are actually getting good deal.
Those are great neighborhoods.
Great picks. Great picks. Seasoned pro. I love it. Yeah. Those are great picks. And for me, I still am really loving the southernmost area of Manhattan. There's a few beautiful, large new buildings that just went up. The deals will be very good. Really premium, beautiful product. So I have a lot of faith in the Battery Park area, Financial District area. It's continuing to bloom. It's continuing to increase. And right now, I believe it's a great deal. And there are some new buildings, like I said, that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Financial District, some awesome new developments in FIDI right now.
Yeah, they're stunning, and they're doing them gorgeous.
They're really doing a good job.
In other areas, you may feel like, oh, I feel like there was a corner cut here, or like, all right, I get it. You did something like typical or expected. The ones that go up in the Financial District are just so stunning, so unique. Like, it's really, that area feels like very Great Gatsby. It's really coming in, and all of the stuff that's coming up, even the businesses, the restaurants, the hotels that are coming up, is very like 1920s, elevated, beautiful, like bold style, very unique, interesting product. And that's the people we have coming in buying it. It's been really interesting.
So true. I mean, you walk into these buildings and you see the value makes sense. It's like, oh, I see why they're asking this for the unit. So it's a one bed that's 900 square feet, and I could see the water. I could see all the beautiful buildings in the city. Like, the value is there. Like, the buildings are incredible, and what you're getting, it's so worth it.
The downtown architecture is stunning.
Absolutely.
It's, even if you're looking at a building, it's like ornate and carved out and beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot to love. There's a lot to love.
Definitely.
Thank you guys so much. This was fun.
Awesome.
I always have to beg everyone to come out and record. And you guys are always glad you did in the end of the day. I wish we had Maria. The day that this entire team is available at the same time, and we can get into the same place and actually appear like a full assembled 4-person team based in New York City, I'm going to literally play the lottery that day, because I've been asking for a year. I have not been able to get us all in one place. Like, we're way too busy. Over a year. Over a year. Yeah, so we'll see.
One day.
Planets need to align. Like, everything needs to work. Luck has to be present. We'll get it.
We'll get it. We'll
get
figure
it.
out.
So it's good. I'm glad to have the 3 of us together.
Yeah, thanks for
Love
having
you
us on.
guys. Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.